Hey everyone, Alex Tardy here with Weather Echo. Happy holidays and best to the new year coming up. But we've got some things to talk about. Very heavy precipitation in California through the holidays, especially Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Atmospheric rivers. So let's talk about that and what it looks like. This is the summary. Heavy rain. Now we've already seen some light rain, but heavy rain's coming in tonight and then especially Christmas Eve during the day, as early as the morning. Then periods of light to moderate rain will continue through at least December 26, because the storm hangs around that long. Big precipitation numbers. San Gabriel Mountains look like the target area, perhaps up to 20 inches of water. That's a lot, yes, and that can cause flooding in more than just localized areas. 5 to 10 inches in the San Bernardino Mountains. Snow levels, now they will be a problem initially with adding to that runoff. So they'll be high around 8,000 feet up on Mount Baldy. Then they'll come down after the weather system, the first atmospheric river, moves through on Christmas Eve. So on Christmas Day and the 26th, the day after Christmas, they'll come down to about 6,500 feet. And I think by the 27th, they'll be down to already 5,000 feet. So much lower with the lingering precipitation through the week. Significant snow, wet snow above 7,000 feet. And big numbers in feet up near 8,000 feet. Rainfall of 2 to 6 inches between LA and San Diego coastal areas. So that's the urban areas getting that much rain. Yes, even in San Diego County, especially high potential for North County. Deserts, 1 to 3 inches of water. Now, we're also going to see strong winds, especially on Christmas Eve. That first atmospheric river means business with wind and with precipitation. That's what defines an atmospheric river and its strength is wind and precipitation, the transport of that moisture. Could see some strong gusts that can cause damage on the coast and even gusts exceeding 60 miles per hour, perhaps even 80 miles per hour in the high desert and the mountain slopes. This wind will be coming up from the south. Okay, what are we looking at? So there's an atmospheric river already in place across central northern California. It's already delivered precipitation, flooding in Redding, California, for example. That's going to remain, but we have a new surge coming up from the tropics as shown here. So those two are going to combine into one big storm, a strong storm with high winds and a lot of precipitation. This is precipitation forecast issued on the 23rd, today, when this video was made. You can see each weather model varies, and that's normal. They have different physics, different dynamics. They have different methods of calculating. They even have different resolution and how much detail they can see in our complex terrain here in Southern California. Nonetheless, we see several inches for the coast, with the epicenter being the LA basin area as shown here. This model here is very high resolution, so it's different than the others, but it also shows the focus being the LA basin area. But look, even in western Riverside, San Diego counties, you see between 2 to 4 inches of water accumulating through Christmas. The excessive rainfall outlook is shown here, and it's not too often that you see high predicted. So we've got a multitude of problems here, not just burn scars. So burn scars react by rainfall rate and intensity, and we're going to get that certainly tonight and Christmas Eve. But rivers and smaller streams respond to the total amount and the duration of rain. So since this is slow-moving, heavy rain on Christmas Eve, we could also see small streams and rivers swell and even go over their banks. So this is a serious situation, especially in those red shaded areas and even the purple as shown here. Then when the ground gets saturated, you get a different process. Rock and landslides up in the San Gabriel and San Bernardino Mountains. So that's regardless of burn scars. The winds I talked about, take a look at this. The frontal system that comes in the surface low pressure area in the Eastern Pacific, it strengthens as those two moisture sources combine and a big chunk of cold air or an upper level trough in the North Pacific drops into the Eastern Pacific or the California coast. So that induces the low pressure area, that increases the transport of the moisture, and here you go, you get strong winds and you get a strong frontal boundary as a result, just like you might see on the East Coast. So you can see some very strong winds on Christmas Eve, the 24th, moving into Long Beach, moving to the San Gabriel Mountains, San Bernardino Mountains, the high deserts, and then slowly moving eastward along with that frontal band or that atmospheric river on the 24th. So some really intense winds. You can see really high potential for winds in some of our mountain areas. That could cause some damage, not just the heavy rain and the high elevation snow, but you can see some winds exceeding 80 miles per hour up in the San Gabriels and San Bernardino Mountains. So keep that in mind. But you're gonna see wind even along the coastal areas from LA down to San Diego, and even some of our interior areas of the Inland Empire. Okay, what's the weather pattern I'm talking about? Well, this big upper level trough, this big pocket of cold air is dropping south from Alaska. And on Christmas Eve, that's going to meet up with the tropical moisture and actually funnel that moisture up through California. And that's also going to induce or create a low pressure. And there's how you have that wind down at the level where we live at. So very dynamic, slow-moving system. We saw a system similar to this back in December of 2010. So you can look back in your record books, December 2010. Now, it doesn't go away. So you see on Christmas Day and even the day after Christmas into the 27th, it does weaken. We lose those blue colors, so the cold air modifies and the storm weakens. But we still have residual moisture, and we still have a way to force out more precipitation and a little bit of wind continuing as well. So the storm system basically remains in place at least through the 26th. So we have additional lighter to moderate precipitation Christmas, the day after Christmas, and possibly even lingering into the 27th. Okay, here's the atmospheric river, and this is powerful. This is going to come up from the south and combine with the existing one and move right up parallel to the California coast as shown here on Christmas Eve. So this is really going to get cranking tonight. I'm showing you near midnight tonight and then early tomorrow morning on the 24th. And those bright red areas are strong atmospheric river, high transport of moisture from the tropics. Now, when you go into the 25th and 26th, you see you don't have those reds, but the low pressure area in the upper atmosphere, the jet stream, and the surface low pressure area is just all wound up. We call it occluded. But so the cold air is caught up to the warm air and it's slowly dying and weakening, but it's still, the circulation is throwing moisture, as you see here on the 25th, still throwing moisture into central Southern California as shown here. And some of this moisture could last even into the 27th. We hope you enjoyed this weather insight. We hope you also don't have to travel on the 24th. A little bit better conditions on the 25th and 26th, but keep in mind the lower snow levels on the 25th and 26th affecting our mountain passes. Also keep in mind the lowest snow levels on the 27th. So there'll be flooding impacts and residual flooding still occurring on Christmas Day and the day after, so keep that in mind as well, even though precipitation will be light to moderate, not intense like we see on Christmas Eve. You'll find more information posted on X, more information on TikTok and YouTube Shorts as well. You can sign up for the weather blog. Have a great holiday. Be safe. Hopefully, again, you don't have to travel on the 24th. That looks like the worst conditions in terms of wind and heavy rain. California has seen almost no snow this month. We're just starting to get snow in the Sierra Nevada now. And in our mountain areas from southern to northern California, we're talking feet of snow. So check Caltrans before you depart and see the latest conditions. All right, thanks everyone.